What even is the senpai thing? Today we find out thanks to Haikyuu. Could I use any other high school anime to talk about this topic? Yes. Did I make up an entire topic barely even in Haikyuu so just I can talk about Haikyuu? Also, yes. I just want to talk about Haikyuu, alright? So, the senpai thing. As per usual, there's quite a lot of history behind it, so just bear with me. The basis of this very present in Japanese culture senpai-kōhai relationship we can actually find in Confucianism, which is a system of thought and behaviors created in China mainly by Confucius, a guy who lived between 551 and 479 BCE. And yet, what he said at the time is still relevant in most countries in East Asia. I'm not going to go into details about what Confucianism is about, because first of all, it has many complicated teachings and I think that would be just too boring, and second of all, I've got the lowest possible grade at my Confucianism class at university, so I don't think that I'm qualified to even talk about this. But regardless, the most important teaching of Confucianism that actually contributed into creating our most beloved Notice Me Senpai meme actually talks about different relationships and different hierarchies of relationships that a person can have. In Japanese it's called Korin and it looks like this. It shows 5 possible relationships that Confucianism claims exist in the world and tells you how you should behave in them. So first, a father and son must be bonded by affection, but the son must be obedient to the father. Next, the monarch and the vassals must be connected with compassion, but the vassal must be obedient to the monarch. Next we have husband and wife, where they have their own respective roles, but again the wife must be obedient to the husband. Then there must be an order between the older and the younger person. That's the point that interests us the most, as it's the origin of the senpai-kōhai system. So the younger person must be obedient to the older one, obviously. And the last point talks about friends, meaning people of the same status or age, and Confucianism says that they must trust each other. So this is the only point where two sides are treated as equal in this belief system. So apart from the last relationship, Confucianism claims that in the rest of them there is one person who should be in charge and should be respected and obeyed by the other one, but in turn they must protect them. Confucianism, like anything that was imported into Japan at some point, got changed slightly to fit well with the Japanese society, and so from those rules that were changed a bit, senpai-kōhai system was created. The words senpai and kōhai come from the Chinese equivalents, and they actually appear in many different East Asian countries just with their own respective pronunciations. In the anime, senpai is a lot of the time translated as the upperclassman, but it's not exactly correct. It can mean that if the environment in which the word is used is a school of some sort. But this word is also used to address seniors in your company or any, place you might work at. It basically indicates that someone is your senior, has been hired before you, or has bigger experience than you. It can also be about, but it's not limited to the age seniority, and at schools, obviously, your senpais are gonna be older than you, but at work, it's not necessarily true. Kōhai, on the other hand, is not a word we can hear a lot in anime, right? Because senpais don't refer to their juniors as kōhais, they just use their names. But that word means basically that, a junior. Someone of a lesser experience than you, whether that is a work experience working for a specific company, or in education. So in short, a kōhai is going to call his senpai senpai because you need to be polite and respectful to your senpai, but a senpai is not going to call his kōhai kōhai because they can just use their names. Like that. Of course, the system is not only about semantics. Each side of the relationship has their own respective responsibilities. Kōhais are supposed to look up to the seniors, respect them and use polite language with them, though the quality of the polite language of our Haikyuu boys is, well, debatable. The younger ones should listen to the senpais and do what they tell them to do, but in the perfect world, the senpais would tell them to do the duties that they think would let the kōhais gain more experience. Like, they would order them to practice something so that they could get better at it and not take a loan, give them all the money and then let the kōhais be harassed by Yakuza or something like that. But it is true that this power dynamic can lead to abuse and mobbing sometimes, but here we're talking about senpais from the Nakama world of the anime. Not this shit show that we live in actually, so let's leave that. Then the senpai's role is to teach the kōhais to share the experience and lead them through their responsibilities. They are also responsible, in a way, for their juniors. If they make a mistake, a good senpai would take the blame, and then of course whip the junior's ass, but still. They are supposed to protect them if needed, and sometimes even spoil them, with treating them to meals and stuff like that.
お前練習の後でアイスをおごってやる。え？なんつっても俺は先輩だからな。
But in exchange, they expect the juniors to support them with the job and repay the kindness to them or their own juniors in the future.
勝浦先輩。
It is very important to the senpais to teach the way of the senpais so that the senpai spirit can live on.
なんていい先輩なんだ俺。
Yeah, the brats from Haikyuu don't really think a lot about Confucianism when they communicate with each other, and I mean, who would? Their relationship is much more free than it is in some sports club or companies in Japan. It's not as stiff as in some places it might be, but still they're just teenage boys, right? They are not yet really a part of a society, so a bit more of a leeway is expected there. But still we can see how much respect the younger ones have for the older ones. Even though the most talented players are among the youngsters, they are not cocky at all to their seniors and they depend on them a lot and show them a lot of respect, and the senpais, as expected, take good care of their kohais too. Why didn't I have friends like that in high school? That's not fair. Senpai.